Hi everybody, this is Hana with Team Elite, where we inspire you to dream big and go bold. We are here with our Think and Grow Rich series. Today we are doing chapter 4. It's Autosuggestion. This is going to be a 2-part video. There's a lot of juice in here, so we're going to get right down into it. This is a live audiobook series where I am reading from the book Think and Grow Rich. We have Vahid over here who's going to be doing commentary. Basically all the things that we need to know more details on. He's going to be giving you the juice, guys. So let's get right into it. You ready?
Good to see you, Hana. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Chapter 4, Autosuggestion.
What page are we on, Hana? On that
we
book?
are on page 80, guys, in
page
this version.
80 of the Bible type.
Yes.
Think and Grow Rich.
Autosuggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind, the third step toward riches. Autosuggestion is a term which applies to all suggestions and all self-administered stimuli which reach one's mind through the 5 senses. Stated in another way, autosuggestion is self-suggestion. It is the agency of communication between the part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as the seat of action for the subconscious mind. That was a lot. Let's explain that.
Let's go over it one more time. We have conscious mind, we have subconscious mind. So it's one of those concepts that initially when I started learning about it, it's not the easiest concept to get, but I tell you one thing. If you just follow along what Napoleon Hill tells you and you just do that, it's kind of you suggesting to yourself of the things that you wanted to manifest outside. So it's kind of you looking in the mirror saying, I'm good looking. Looking in the mirror saying, hey, you know what? You and I are going to have a fantastic day today. Or we're going to have a blessed day today. Or today is going to be a productive day. So you are suggesting what you wanted to manifest outside to yourself. So it's a whole lot, but I think if you just read through it, it will make more sense because it's the third step to riches.
Yeah, what you just said, I'm going to read this again, guys. Stated in another way, autosuggestion is self-suggestion. It is the agency of communication between the part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as the seat of action for the subconscious mind.
Exactly.
Through the dominating thoughts which one permits to remain in the conscious mind, whether these thoughts be negative or positive, is immaterial.
So whatever you hold very strongly, that's your dominating thought. What is your dominating thought? Am I sick all the time? The economy is bad. Life is this. I can't find the right, wife. I can't find the right house. Real estate market is down. Stock market. Whatever you hold, very, very, very deep. What's dominating your mind is going to manifest itself. So we want to make sure that when we talk about thoughts or things, we want to make sure that you hold the right thoughts in your mind.
So can you explain to the audience the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind? Because I know we're going to keep saying those words, and I want you to elaborate.
I think this chapter is going to explain it.
Okay.
Let's just go through it when it gets, and then we can always come back to it.
Okay, great. Let's see.
Because Dr. Truman did draw it 1950s or 60s. I don't know exactly what. It's the stick man, where you draw the circle, you draw the body and everything else. The top part, conscious, subconscious one. So we're going to talk about that. We got to put it on the...
Yeah, they can find that,
exactly.
Right?
They can find that, and then we're going to have a picture of it maybe in the couple of next series on the video. We're going to have it over here. So we actually go into it in depth.
Great.
There's a cool animation about it that we can put over there.
Perfect. Okay. Through the dominating thoughts which one permits to remain in the conscious mind, whether these thoughts be negative or positive is immaterial. The principle of autosuggestion voluntarily reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. No thought, whether it be negative or positive, can enter the subconscious mind without the aid of the principle of autosuggestion, with the exception of thoughts picked up from the ether. Stated differently, all sense impressions which are perceived through the 5 senses are stopped by the conscious thinking mind and may be either passed on to the subconscious mind or rejected at will.
So we got the 5 faculties. We're going to talk about that. Keep going.
Okay.
So there are a few things that we can pick up from the ether, from the universe, from the magnetic field, if you want to think of it, or you could think of it as the air.
Exactly. But so what ether is, you're saying
exactly, just outside the universe, right? There are things that we could pick up from that, but we're going to talk about that in more depth.
Great. Nature has so built man that he has absolute control over the material riches, his subconscious mind, through his 5 senses, although this is not meant to be construed as a statement that man always exercises this control. In the great majority of instances, He does not exercise it, which explains why so many people go through life in poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Recall what has been said about the subconscious mind resembling a fertile garden spot in which weeds will grow in abundance if the seeds or more desirable crops are not sown therein. Autosuggestion.
So that means you have to plant the right seeds in it for it to grow. If you don't grow it, something is going to grow anyway. It's just like a garden that we have. Mm-hmm. If you don't take care of it, guess what ends up happening? You'll have all kinds of weed growing, right? Different kinds.
Yeah.
And, they're all green, they're all plants, but that may not be desirable for what you want. You want a very nice, clean garden where you want the type of plants that you want to plant. So that seed needs to be planted there. If it's not there,
mm-hmm.
anything could grow. You may not like the result.
Recall what has been said about the subconscious mind resembling a fertile garden spot in which weeds will grow in abundance if the seeds or more desirable crops are not sown therein. Autosuggestion is the agency of control through which an individual may voluntarily feed his subconscious mind on thoughts of creative nature or by neglect permit thoughts of the destructive nature to find their way into this rich garden of the mind.
So you have to be very, very protective of your mind. You have to constantly be conscious about what you let in and what you don't let in. Mm-hmm. So you have to allow the right people to influence you and the right thoughts to get in. And sometimes we gotta press on that thought that you gotta hold on to it with a burning desire. You gotta hold it with a lot of energy so you make sure that it passes through. So, and that thought doesn't mean, it doesn't have to be true or not true. It could be anything, right? But you got to be the decision maker. You got to allow things that you want to go in there. Very, very important. Just opening it up, let anything go in, that's not the answer. It's an answer. You could live life like that, but you're probably not going to be a successful individual.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You were instructed in the last of the 6 steps described in chapter on desire to read aloud twice the written statement of your desire for money and to see and feel yourself already in possession of the money. By following these instructions, you communicate the object of your desire directly to your subconscious mind in a spirit of absolute faith. Through repetition of this procedure, you voluntarily create thought habits which are favorable to your efforts to transmute desire into its monetary equivalent.
So now you're repeating that. So we talked about it in the chapter with desire, mm-hmm. and we have done numerous videos on it, and we keep saying it. You don't have to know how it works, you just need to know that it does work. Mm-hmm. So the way you're going to do it is, we talked about it, that you're going to repeat it once in the morning. It's like your affirmation. So you're going to repeat that once in the morning, once at nighttime before you go to rest. So you repeat it. Now, I personally recommended in the previous videos that you repeat it as many times needed. Yeah. Potentially 4, 5, 6, 7 times throughout the day, so you know exactly what your plan is, and you voluntarily, with backing it up with faith, and actually feeling it, you're feeding it to your mind. Mm-hmm. Very, very important.
Go back to these 6 steps described in chapter 2 and read them again very carefully before you proceed further.
So the 6 steps were like, you want to find out exactly how much you want, mm-hmm. write it down, what's the plan, what are you going to give for it, and read the affirmation every day.
Then, when you come to it, read very carefully the 4 instructions for the organization of your mastermind group described in the chapter on organized planning. By comparing these 2 sets of instructions with what has been stated on autosuggestion, you, of course, will see that the instructions involve the application of the principle of autosuggestion. Remember, therefore, when reading aloud the statement of your desire, through which you are endeavoring to develop a money consciousness, that the mere reading of the words is of no consequence unless you mix emotion or feeling with your words. If you repeat 1,000,000 times the famous Emil-Co formula, day by day in every way I'm getting better and better, without mixing emotion and faith in your words, you will experience no desirable results.
So what he's saying is that, whenever you read your affirmation, when you're reading in the morning and nighttime, put some feeling into it. Yeah. And that for every individual is different. I like to get really excited about it, I get really jazzed up about it and all that. But some other people may not. You might have different forms of you getting your emotions involved with your goals and what you want to accomplish in the future. But whatever that is, there must be emotions in it. It can't just be, I want $1 million. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
You got to put some juicing it.
And that's even if you're feeling bad about it. You don't feel confident about what you wrote. You still have to fake, like,
you still have to
act like it.
You gotta act as if you are in the possession of that money. That's what he's talking about. That's why a lot of people, what they do is they write a check to themselves, or they print a check and they put the amount that they want, and they they glue it or they pin it to the ceiling when they sleep, and they'll have it in their bedroom. So the first thing in the morning you wake up, that's the first thing that you see.
Like
so whatever you need to do, you need to do that.
Very nice. Your subconscious mind recognizes and acts upon only thoughts which have been well mixed with emotion or feeling. This is a fact of such importance as to warrant repetition in practically every chapter, because the lack of understanding of this is the main reason the majority of people who try to apply the principle of autosuggestion get no desirable results. Plain, unemotional words do not influence the subconscious mind. You will get no appreciable results until you learn to reach your subconscious mind with thoughts or spoken words which have been well emotionalized with belief.
Exactly. That's why whenever we go to seminars or different events, when a speaker resonates with you, they're repeating the different things, and you're getting emotions up, and your affirmations got more power to it. Now the key thing is to bottle up that feeling and be able to carry it with yourself anytime, so you could activate it. And just like you said, sometimes we just gotta act as if we are in the possession of it, even though we're not in the possession of the money. So kind of keeping yourself self-motivated internally.
Do not become discouraged if you cannot control and direct your emotions the first time you try to do so. Remember, there is no such possibility as something for nothing. Ability to reach and influence your subconscious mind has its price, and you must pay that price. You cannot cheat, even if you desire to do so. The price of ability to influence your subconscious mind is everlasting persistence in applying the principles described here.
What we're trying to say in here is that you gotta practice at it. You gotta put some energy, effort into it, and don't get discouraged if you don't get it the first time. I mean, I'm still having struggle with it after like 9-10 years of reading the book constant. That's why we keep talking about it, Hannah, that this is a workbook. This is not a novel. You go over it one time and you got it. This is like work. Now, every single year, the more I read about it, the more I study it, the more we go back and forth, guess what? The more I'm learning about it. I'm learning more about how I'm behaving and how I can upgrade that and adjust that. So it's a work in progress.
You cannot develop the desired ability for a lower price. You and you alone must decide whether or not the reward for which you are striving, the money consciousness, is worth the price you must pay for it in effort. Wisdom and cleverness alone will not attract and retain money, except in a few very rare instances where the law of averages favors the attraction of money through these sources. The method of attracting money described here does not depend upon the law of averages. Moreover, the method plays no favorites. It will work for one person as effectively as it will for another. Where failure is experienced, it is the individual, not the method, which has failed. If you try and fail, make another effort, and still another until you succeed.
So success principles don't change.
Your ability to use the principle of autosuggestion will depend very largely upon your capacity to concentrate upon a given desire until that desire becomes a burning obsession. When you begin to carry out the instructions in your connection with the 6 steps described in the 2nd chapter, it will be necessary for you to make use of the principle of concentration. Let us here offer suggestions for the effective use of concentration. When you begin to carry out the first of the 6 steps, which instructs you to fix in your own mind the exact amount of money you desire, hold your thoughts on that amount of money by concentration or fixation of attention.
What we're talking about over here is just like the effect that sun has on a magnifying glass, and how you can start fire on a piece of paper. So concentration is holding on to those thoughts for long enough till it materializes. You can't just be waving a magnifying glass in the middle of the space and think that you're going to start a fire. No, it has to be the right angle, right position, and the sun needs to be out. So it's concentration is that where you are like laser pointed in for you to be able to start that fire. So it's very, very, very important.
Hold your thoughts on the amount of money by concentration or fixation of attention with your eyes closed until you can actually see the physical appearance of the money. Do this at least once each day. As you go through these exercises, follow the instructions given in the chapter on faith, and see yourself actually in possession of the money.
So you got to close your eyes, see it. You're not going to do it the first time. You got to hold that thought and be able to see it. Kind of like it's kind of a meditation, but now you already, meditation most of the time what you want to do, you want to empty out your mind, so now you can think clearly. This what we're talking about is we're giving you one idea and we're just saying concentrate on this one idea, which is the amount of money that you want to have.
So would you suggest doing this kind of visualization after a meditation?
Definitely.
Okay.
You could do it before or after.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, once you clear up your mind, definitely is good. But you got to do it at least once a day. Again, we go back to this suggestion all the time that I make. When we say once a day, when you master it.
Yes.
You understand that? So once you start going to gym for like maybe 5 years, yeah, maybe one day you can skip, one day do a little bit, less, this, you could modify a little bit, right? But when you starting beginning, brand new, you're sticking to the regimen that you decided that you need to do. So doing a couple of more times per day, I think will expedite your process.
I agree. Do this at least once each day. As you go through these exercises, follow the instructions given in the chapter on faith, see yourself actually in possession with the money. Here is a most significant fact. The subconscious mind takes any orders given it in a spirit of absolute faith and acts upon those orders. Although the orders often have to be presented over and over again through repetition before they are interpreted by the subconscious mind. Following the preceding statement, consider the possibility of playing a perfectly legitimate trick on your subconscious mind by making it believe, because you believe it, that you must have that amount of money you are visualizing, that this money is already awaiting your claim, that the subconscious mind must hand over to you practical plans for acquiring the money which is yours. Hand over the thought suggested in the preceding paragraph to your imagination and see what your imagination can or will do to create practical plans for the accumulation of money through transmutation of your desire.
Self-explanatory. It just makes sense. You just do it.
So that's basically
follow the instruction A to Z. Just follow the instruction.
And that's also saying that money isn't going to come out of the sky.
No, it's
You're
not.
going to get a plan.
Exactly. So once you concentrate on that, guess what ends up happening? Universe, you have a plan. Put the plan in place and the right things will happen. But again, we go back to that, Hana. Just thinking positive and holding the thought that I want a lot of money is not going to create money for you. Mm-hmm. You got to put in the plan. You got to have the plan. And you got to have an action plan. You got to go to work. Simple. Mm-hmm. You got to put in the work.
Beautiful. Do not wait for a definite plan through which you intend to exchange services or merchandise in return for the money you are visualizing, but begin at once to see yourself in possession of the money, demanding and expecting, meanwhile, that your subconscious mind will hand over the plan or plans you need. Be on the alert for these plans, and when they appear, put them into action immediately. When the plan appears, they will probably flash into your mind through the sixth sense in the form of an inspiration. This inspiration may be considered a direct telegram or message from infinite intelligence. Treat it with respect and act upon it as soon as you receive it. Failure to do so will be fatal to your success.
Infinite intelligence, we're going to do a video on that. We got to cover it. And there's been a few other workbooks that have actually gone into detail of what that means and how you're going to utilize that. So we'll do a video on that. As a matter of fact, let me make a note of myself.
Yeah. In the fourth of the 6 steps, you were instructed to create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once to put this plan into action.
So you got to start immediately. Don't think about it. Don't wait for it. Just start immediately. Your tasks or your actions or your work could be very minute, but you start immediately.
You should follow this instruction in the manner described in the preceding paragraph. Do not trust your reason when creating your plan for accumulating money through the transmutation of desire. Your reason is faulty. Moreover, your reason faculty may be lazy, and if you depend entirely upon it to serve you, it may disappoint you. Mm-hmm. When visualizing the money you intend to accumulate with your closed eyes, see yourself rendering the service or delivering the merchandise you intend to give in return for this money. This is so important.
So you're rendering services. You got to visualize yourself doing that. Now, whatever field you are in, it's irrelevant. The field is irrelevant. As long as you're doing the best that you could possibly be doing, and on constant basis you're trying to improve on it, but you're rendering services in return for the riches, in return for the money. And it might come to you gradually, little by little, it might have an increase, but that's exactly what we need to do.
Perfect. But I think we should wrap it up for this one so we can make this a two-part for
Cool,
this one.
cool.
We are going to be going over the summary of instructions. That's going to be the next piece of autosuggestion in this chapter. So I think, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead, write them down in the comment section. We're more than happy to assist you. Give us we're going to give you the 2 cents that we can give you, as well as like, subscribe, follow us.
The new Instagram we got, the new account, Napoleon.Hill, Team Elite. Hopefully we could have more of these instructions at the bottom of it, but we are putting together a workbook where we could distribute, where you guys can actually make notes as you go along with the book. So that's going to be coming out. Takes a lot of work, but we're working on it.
Yeah,
it's coming. It's a work in progress.
All right, guys, take care. See you next time.
We'll see you in the next video.